Hello, everyone. This is your host, Manoj Tandon, with another episode of Dark Rhino Security's Security Confidential. Today, we have another awesome guest joining us from halfway around the world. But before I get to him, I need to ask you guys to please hit the like and subscribe button. It's important. The algorithm demands it, and we need to know that you still love us so we can keep bringing you this wonderful content. But without further delay, let me introduce you to Husam Shabib. He is a cybersecurity consultant he is currently in Saudi Arabia, but he is a specialist practitioner. He specializes in penetration testing, in digital forensics, in malware analysis, in programming and OSINT, open source intelligence. He has multiple certifications, including ICMDE, CCE, CCD, CCDFA, to name a few. He has spoken at Black Hat EMEA. He has spoken at ASF, SFM, I got that right, 3D Forensics, and a couple other conferences. He has a passion for developing cybersecurity awareness, and he shares his knowledge through LinkedIn, YouTube, and personal mentoring. Thank you so much, Husam, for joining us from so far away late in the evening.
Thank you so much, Manu. Thank you for having me. It's actually an honor to be in this Security Confidential podcast. I'm really glad actually that I can participate in such a great show.
Oh, so, we got to know, give us a little bit about your background. You're the first person from the Middle East we've had on the show. So how did you get into cybersecurity?
Actually, it is very long story. It started when I was actually in the middle school. I was
Okay.
reading in my computer IT book, and I read something about the hackers. The hackers, they defined it as computer thief or network thieves. So I was really fascinated about the term, how they define hackers as network thieves. So I was looking up about more like information about this, like what is hacker, what they are doing. But the problem is my teacher stopped me and he told me, Husam, never look for any information regarding hackers. They are dangerous. Don't be close at all to them. But actually this sparked the curiosity more and more, so I was looking for more information regarding this. Are they really dangerous? Are they really what the actually my teacher is saying about them? And my journey actually started there. I was in the seventh grade in the
Wow.
school, and I started teaching myself about cybersecurity on my own. Yeah.
And you had no guidance other than yourself? You learned
No, no at
step by
all.
step?
Actually, it was really it was very, very rare area and very niche area, and no one is speaking about like cybersecurity or hackers or hacking or even the information security domain back then. No one is talking about it. But for me, I felt that is really a new domain and something that I can chase actually.
What kind of priority is cybersecurity getting by companies in the Middle East right now?
Actually, in cybersecurity, a lot of attention is actually being towards cybersecurity nowadays, really, in the Middle East, because we know that the next era or even this era is the cyber era. It is not any other than the cyber era itself. Why? Because you can notice actually everything is through communication, through electronic communication, through intelligence. All your decisions are based on cyber intelligence, cyber threat intelligence. I think now Saudi Arabia, I think, is the second or the first, second country in the world now towards the development of cybersecurity. Let's say
Yeah,
as
well,
a country.
Aramco had a few breaches a decade or so ago,
Yeah,
where
before
with
before.
their safety systems, right?
Yeah. I think it was hit by Sham'un.
Well, it's always a good idea to have indigenous resources, right?
Yes.
that are
That's for sure.
capable of providing a layer of significant protection.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Because that's the closest you can come to trust in the
Yeah.
business. You have done a lot of penetration testing.
Yeah.
So you became an ethical hacker in a sense, in spite of your teacher telling you to not do it.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
So tell us about there's a few curiosity questions here. I mean, there's a lot of people when they think about cybersecurity, they like, well, I'm going to become an ethical hacker. I want to hack. I want to do this. From a knowing what you know now, is that the place you would start off or advise a young person to start off in today if they're going to go into cyber?
For me, I would still actually advise to have, yeah, or to start as penetration tester. Having the attacker's mindset, you know where attackers can actually go and find their targets, how they gonna attack it, vulnerabilities they will be like exploiting, for example, or misconfiguration they are actually taking advantage of. All of this they will prepare you for, in my opinion, to your future cybersecurity career. This technical advantage will help you a lot out.
So you described getting into the mind of the hacker and understanding what misconfiguration or exploits. Walk us through how a hacker behaves, like a bad guy who's
Bad
trying to
guy.
get it, a bad guy trying to get into some random company. Okay.
Okay.
How will
For a
they
bad
do,
guy,
how will they target this? How will they go about?
okay, if I am bad guy, so there is no ethical boundaries, right?
No ethical boundaries. Yeah.
For sure. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's say I am targeting XYZ company.
Yep.
XYZ company, so I have this target. Actually, a lot of times hackers invest too much time on just reconnaissance and finding information, available information on the target. So they will do open source intelligence, they will check their social media, they will check all archived website, they will check all information. My target here is not to find weaknesses because I am not doing scanning, I am just actually gathering information. So here in this stage I want to know more about my target, how, like for example, it behaves. Who are the employees? What are, for example, the email IDs convention, naming convention for their email IDs? If it is a really big target, and you may actually go to the dark web, you find some information that even like to be sold. You can actually purchase some information, especially for later on, for later stages in the
Okay.
attack. Now this information, so okay, let's say you have a network, let's say segment, or let's say subnet, you know where to scan. You want to, for example, if they are like the web application, you need to scan it, all of that. Like you need to find vulnerabilities, misconfiguration that actually later on you can exploit, and taking actually access to the system, to the web application.
So would that information be either a domain name or what's the server, or are you looking for admin credentials? What
Yeah,
would that?
first, like domain name and all the IPs, all of that will be in the reconnaissance phase.
Yep.
In the second phase, scanning, okay, let's say for example I am actually scanning XYZ website, the
Yeah.
website of that company. So I will check everything, single detail in that. For example, I will check, for example, SQL injection, XSS, all of type of vulnerability. Try to scan and find vulnerabilities inside the maybe web application, networking. Even sometimes the operating system is vulnerable to some
Sure.
exploit. Yeah,
Lots of vulnerabilities there.
exactly. Like every day you have here, oh, this is 0 day vulnerability, this is 0 day, and sometimes the BOC or even the exploit itself is shared
Plus, most
online.
aren't patched, Husam.
Yeah. Sometimes like what I see actually nowadays, like attackers are manipulating a little bit about old vulnerabilities and old, for example, previous vulnerabilities, and it became 0 day. Like this is what they are doing now. Like what I noticed, like for sure there are really like some brand new 0 days vulnerabilities, but other than that, actually they are changing a little bit about the vulnerability, and they are introducing a new 0 day that is not patched. And sometimes not all actually 0 days are actually the companies or vendors are aware of. Sometimes they are actually selling these vulnerabilities for the dark web for
Oh yeah,
very
for a good chunk of money.
exactly, which is sometimes like a lot of people actually cannot afford and will not afford such. But for example, for certain groups, for certain threat actors, for sure they will pay that amount because they know, for example, I can exploit this vulnerability and spread ransomware that force them actually to pay much more than the amount that I paid. So yeah, it is
It,
actually business.
no, it is a business, but I want our audience to understand the depth to which you are going through in the scanning phase and the
Yeah,
reconnaissance phase. Now, how do you not get discovered in the scanning phase?
exactly. Here, in my opinion, what actually differentiates the good hacker from, let's say, or the elite hacker from the good hacker from the bad hacker.
Okay.
The elite hacker will try actually to blend to the network as really it is benign traffic, nothing wrong. It will try, they will try their best actually to obfuscate their traces. Their actually payload are very, very like, even if someone is sitting on their disk and actually monitoring the network, they will not recognize like it is really malicious. For sure there are many solutions now, they will help, they for sure will help in detecting that. But even though there are many, like for sure like solution get smarter, but humans are smarter. Like we know like how to bypass stuff, like a lot of next generation firewalls, IDS, IBS, everything, like people actually and hackers bypass them easily. They will find the weakest link in the circle and try to exploit that link. Like even if I know like there is XDR, EDRs, a lot of solution, but even though there are a lot, and we can actually like based on the track record actually, a lot of huge and many big corporations actually got breached, and they don't even know, even after even like 2 months, maybe 3 months.
Yeah, they have no idea that they
They
were
know
dwelling in
they have
there.
all the best solutions. Why they get hacked? Because like even if they have this, they will not be able actually to prevent hacking at all. Like okay, I will reduce, I will make it more difficult to average hackers, but for the elite hackers, sometimes they spend like 6 months really just for scanning and gathering information.
That means they're going to want a big payout. If you're,
Yeah, for sure, especially if it is sponsored. Yeah,
yeah.
like the hacker, even they prefer actually to work alone, but there are groups, and this group, if they are actually working in group, they have multiple actually personnel who have different skill sets, and they integrate and complement each other.
So
Like
they're a
really, like
development
there are
team,
some
a
people.
virtual development team on their own.
Exactly, like there are some people, oh my god, that I know, like they are really dangerous. Like if they want, like they can reverse engineer a whole security solution from big vendor on their own, alone. Yeah, there are some people like this, like really, but hope fortunately they are working in the ethical side, you know.
So if you so if it's an elite hacker who doesn't get detected, at what point then do they develop a payload that is specific to that company, or are they going to use an off the shelf
No,
available?
usually off the shelf will be detected actually, like trying to use tools that have been used in the wild, most probably will be detected. Even ratio, let's say like one product is much better or less detected, like for example like mimikatz, one of the tools. Like this tool, like have been used a lot. Like, and so it is really detected everywhere now. For example, so some group, they know what they are doing, and they will try to craft and develop a tool that will, for example, use less functions, obfuscate their code, for example, and try to encrypt it until, like, for example, later stages, for example, to be like different stagers. Like all of that will make it less detected. And based on their scanning and based on their reconnaissance, they know really like information maybe the company itself they don't know about, the employees they don't know about, like even the IT and security guys, because they invested too much time and effort just to know information that maybe are actually not really known for that security guy. Or maybe,
Yeah.
like, for example, the one security device is out of the inventory, for example, they don't know it is. I worked actually in user access review for some times, and some users or some devices, the company itself, they don't know about it. Like, they are in the network, and
But
the
they don't know
employees
what it
actually,
is.
no, not even they don't know it where it is. They don't know that the employee has been like resigned, like has been resigned, like the employee
They're
left the
not even
company.
part of the team and they're still there.
Exactly, and their account is on. Like, I can, for example, use it and simulate that I am that user because it is a legitimate user and has not been disabled. So
That is so common though. This in a big
exactly,
company, it is very common because
yeah,
onboarding is easy. Offboarding
not easy. And
is not.
such accounts, we call them orphan accounts
Yep.
because they don't know. And even the devices they are using, for example, if they are actually being, if they are actually on, like, for example, if I am in the network, I can actually use, for example, a VPN, or even if I had a physical access to that device. Later on, we have a lot of, a lot of fun activities actually if someone is really targeting a big organization. We can, after scanning, a lot of things we can do. Like, for example, if I took, for example, after scanning, I will try, for example, for phishing, I will try to hacking Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi of the organization, for example. Like, I just want try to exploit the vulnerabilities that I found in the scanning. If I found, for example, I will try my best just to have a foothold in the network, or in, for example, to make my payload actually works in the web application. All of that takes time for sure. But if you got one thing that gave you access, the open, the doors are open to you actually. Like, oh my God.
So then I have to ask you, Husam, if a company builds, they invest so much money in these very expensive tools and build these expensive defense in depth strategies. In spite of that, it seems like what you're saying is that if you want in, you could probably find a way to get in.
Exactly. And if
So
you
how
want,
much protection does that as a percentage risks? Like 100% cyber protection, no such thing exists, right? But in
exactly.
the continuum, how far does a good defense in depth based approach take you?
The problem, even if you apply all the security design principles, security code principle, like all the security principles, sometimes, even, for example, the person who is in charge of such solutions, you can actually exploit, like social engineering. You can exploit, for example, their emotions, or like you can exploit for sure.
Yeah, we
So
said no ethics. So,
exactly, this
right. So
is
you
this
can
why,
exploit them. You could pay somebody.
exactly, like, in my opinion, like, it cannot go up to 70 or 80, like, really, like, even if you have all the best defenses, like, because why, if even if you have all the best solutions, if you invest too much time, you will find a vulnerability that is 0 days, that no one is talking about. So, and you will have it for you only, so you can actually exploit it. And the vendor and all the companies that are using this vendor product, they will not even know that
Yeah.
you are actually having a backdoor in their systems, in their firewalls. So even the firewalls, the firewalls actually they like every now and then actually they are having actually 0 day vulnerabilities. Even the firewall security products, they would please patch as soon as possible. This is what they are actually talking about. But imagine these are the security products. What about
Yeah.
not security products?
Oh yeah. I mean, your website,
Yes,
you know,
the sky.
your databases. A lot of times, those are not well protected.
Exactly. Like I remember when I was actually doing penetration testing for big organization. Like I had two guys here behind my shoulders, one on the right, one on the left. Like I can really like if I want to test something, no, no, no. This is very dangerous, Husam. Don't try this. Because it is in the production they gave me, which is should not be because it's very critical application, and usually you will not do penetration testing on a production environment. You need it, for example, do it in like a mirror environment or testing environment. Like anything goes wrong, it's okay, like it is testing environment, they will actually patch it in the production. But testing on the production, it gives actually much more sense in terms of actually anything goes wrong, oh my god, the whole network will be down. And actually it was really critical for me because I want to do penetration testing, and at the same time you cannot actually do anything wrong that may cause the network to be down. So like such such environment you need to be, like really really like you cannot do anything you want, because like anything like you do, if it causes network problem, all the business, all the company will be actually down.
Yeah, but the hacker is going to do that. The
For
hacker
sure.
doesn't care.
Exactly, especially if they have access to that, for example, internal application. As I told you, like after scanning, I will do all my best actually to have a foothold in the systems or network or anything. This we call it actually exploitation. In the exploitation, I will have, for example, a foothold in the network, in the web application, or anything that I am actually targeting. And afterwards, for example, oh my god, here as I said, like for example, you will find yourself in Active Directory network. So you will try, oh my, like you will try to go afterwards, you will have to chase employees, check what the protocols they are using, maybe poison some protocols, take actually like you will reach actually to the level of domain admin or even enterprise admin, which is like the highest, let's say, level you will be in the network itself. So you will like you really, yeah, you will give orders and everything, like they will take your orders. You have information about any user, you can access any user,
Yeah.
you will have your documents, the sensitive confidential documents. You can actually spread ransomware, like you can do whatever you want. After actually if you were able to exploit one of the, for example, systems, and afterwards, as I told you, like for example, you have all the internal applications now, you can pivot from from one system to from one subnet to another subnet. You can pivot, you can actually, if you want, like for sure all of that. After exploiting, you will also do, which is we call it actually, like you will do another scanning. But here's the scanning, and you have one credential, you will do scanning to find more vulnerabilities, more misconfigurations, more users, all of that, and we'll try different protocols, different vulnerabilities, different, a lot of stuff. Like you will try to find all information that you can, and at the same time what you can use them to take advantage and exploit. So until you reach to your goal. For example, I want to spread ransomware. Okay, for example, can I spread ransomware in this stage? Okay, I can spread ransomware. Okay, should I delete backups, or should I make, for example, make their lives more difficult? Okay, let's make their lives more difficult. Everything that I can do actually to make them, to damage the company, or for example to take what I want for financially speaking, the only damaging, maybe exfiltration data to sell it on the darknet, what is my goal actually? This my goal is already actually defined before even I start reconnaissance. So once I reach my goal, it's okay. But if I didn't reach, you have too many things actually you can do and perform actually to reach your destination.
That's and it's pointing to, and I'd like to let our audience know that listen to the level of detail that's involved and the amount of patience and time
Yes,
that's
exactly.
dedicated to this. And that is what you're trying to guard against, which is a very difficult.
Yes. Is this why also I find sometimes penetration testing is not as effective as should be, to be honest? Why? Because usually the penetration testing assessment, especially the penetration testing, usually they give you 1 week, 2 week, something like this, and you need to find as many vulnerabilities as you can. But
But and some of
sometimes
them you can't even do it because you have two big guys standing next to you saying don't do that.
no, like in penetration testing, the security or blue team, they are aware that you are doing penetration testing. But the problem is your your schedule is too tight. Like you don't have much time actually to search, to find, to craft. Like for sure you will find too many vulnerabilities. But will you be able to find as hackers? For sure no. Why? Because these hackers actually they are in big teams, different skill sets. They have all the time, so they are like they will try everything until they find their way in. For you, you'll have like 1 week. For example, for me, for example, I was, for example, given, for example, 1 week to do penetration testing for a web application. Is this enough? Okay, you will find all the global standard. Okay, 1 week, 2 weeks. But to be honest, you will not it will not be as effective as it should be, as I said. However, for example, in red teaming assessments, okay, they may give you 1 month, 2 months, 6 months. Okay, red teaming, they will tell you, okay, this is the goal. You need to reach to this server and take these details. Okay, and they will give you very long period and long schedule. And usually also more than red teamer and operator actually working together in a team. So red teaming is simulating the hacking in a more better way compared to penetration tester. Because as I said, the penetration tester, even they will find vulnerabilities, they will test their impact, but because of the short schedule and the short time frame they will actually provide to you, you will not be able to find as many vulnerabilities, exploiting them, checking them, writing the report. It will take time.
It takes time. And have you do you have any have you run into a company that you actually found incredibly well defended, that if you were really in the business of ransomware you'd say, "You know what? I'm going to move on."
Unfortunately, for any company that I went to, I found really like at least I think medium to critical vulnerabilities. Sometimes there are private internal applications which I found 0 days and vulnerabilities actually, and common vulnerabilities that I didn't even know about. So I cannot say actually no. At least you will find medium to critical, medium high critical. Yeah.
So so what is a company to do then? For example, should they just maybe segment off their network and partition it so that, the high risk people, they're on their own thing, and if we lose that, well, oh well, we lost it, but we don't disrupt the operations. uh,
This is the main goal, yeah, like don't disrupt operation. But actually even they are segmenting the network. Like there is one part of you are doing, for example, PCI DSS penetration testing. One part of your penetration testing in this assessment is actually checking the network segmentation. And trust me when I tell you, actually, it is not properly segmented. Even they are thinking it is segmented, it's not. Like it should, like there are communication between the two different segments that should not have that communication. Like a lot of that, like we discovered actually, which should not happen actually.
What about air gapping? Have you seen anybody do that right?
Yeah, for air gapping also, like sometimes, but the air gapping, let's say, air gapping, you need like your way in to make the network, let's say, connect to the outer world. Try to make the internal network connect. Like for example, in Stuxnet, it was air gapped.
Yeah.
It was air gapped.
That's
Like,
why
but
I'm asking this question. You already went there, but thank you. Go ahead.
yeah, but for example, because for example, USPs, it has, for example, this is why the attack, let's say, the attack surface is huge. Like this why like we need to reduce it as much as we can, because really the attack surface, even like exploiting one employee that they are in home, actually at home, we can exploit their devices to spread the malware in their personal devices. And if they plug their USB, and then they can actually move to any place, and if they plug their infected USB, all of that will be gone. So yes,
That's
the
what
air gap
happened
is
in
one.
Iran when the Stuxnet. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, so there are different scenarios that even if it is air gapped, for sure, like for example air gapped OT environment, uh, yes there are, but trust me, in the OT, for example, environment, the solution they are using are legacy. Like it's too old, like really, like all types of
Oh,
vulnerabilities are
it's
there, and they will tell you they cannot patch it or they cannot replace it because the operation will be disrupted. And like really they cannot replace it. Like for example, okay, we have Windows XP, for example, really we cannot change it, really.
they have to, but they'll say the cost. That's the one,
Yeah,
the
the cost,
capital investment.
too much. Not even like, sometimes as it is legacy, all of the other solutions are like depend on this solution or this product. They cannot actually change it because all of other products are depending on this, for example. And there are too many communications between all of other products, so they tell you, no, 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 let's not change this.
Okay, then what are you going to do when the hacker exploits it and shuts it down?
Exactly. As I said, I will do everything actually to stop, for example, the electricity, the water, like all of that. And actually, even if we say like, no, no, it is really difficult, no, no, actually it happens, and it can happen again.
It can happen. It absolutely can
Exactly.
happen.
Especially, for example, if it is also, for example, an insider threat. For example, for, let's say someone is like no cybersecurity and he is working in a certain company. Can he exploit such vulnerabilities? For sure. Can he make their traffic blend more? For sure. Why? Because he's insider. So he has a better opportunity actually to perform their attacks without being noticed. So
Have
really
you
like,
seen that occur? You don't have to name the company. I'm just curious.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, you can, yeah, for insider threats, yeah, I saw.
yeah, that's see that I just want our audience to know it's real. It's
Yeah, it's
very
real.
real. It's
Yeah.
not you just saying that because it would
No, no,
make
no. It's real.
it's
Like really, like there are actually, and as a digital forensic uh, investigator or examiner, actually, you sometimes you have been asked actually to investigate some cases, and you'll find out actually these cases uh, are made or actually are insider threats cases. So you are actually investigating an employee computer because they are suspicious.
why is it said that attribution is very difficult as to who
Yeah,
exactly did it?
for digital forensics, to be honest, the goal of digital forensic is attribution.
Yes.
So you want actually, you have, for example, certain, like they are suspecting certain malicious activity, and you have been asked to investigate, to check, is this really malicious or benign? Like recently, I was working in exfiltration insider case,
Okay.
and the company is suspecting about some internal employees are actually exfiltrating data, sensitive data. And my job was actually to check if they are really exfiltrating data or not. To be honest, like there are many suspicious activities, but for digital forensics, you may actually sometimes need to ask more questions to have more data sources, because the attribution really is our job. Like we want to know who did it, how they did it, when and why, and what actually they did. So all these questions actually our job to do as a digital forensic examiner or investigator, more examiner job. So you will try, like you have the hard disk, you need to image the hard disk, you need to analyze the hard disk. Like really, like my eyes got, like all people like went sleep, and you are just checking, okay, what they did. Like really, like there are too many files to check, there are too many artifacts to check. Why? Because you don't know if it happened really or not first, and then if it happened, how. Maybe the user is really advanced user, and they used very advanced techniques to exfiltrate data. And to be worse, to have that situation worse, we don't have, for example, memory image, we don't have network uh, packets, so you don't really have other than the hard disk data. And a lot of information actually you can find in the packets itself, the network, like when you are doing network forensics or memory image. In the memory image, they they just shut down the PCs, so all the memory is gone.
Yeah.
Like you will not get any memory image out of this. Like you are suspicious of certain activities, you should call us earlier. Why you did something that you should not do actually on you, on like by you, like no one is told you, like you just shut down the PC, which is actually critical mistake, to be honest. Especially if something is encrypted, the user maybe actually will not give you, for example, the password. Okay, I will not give you password. No. Like what you can do, like sometimes you cannot crack the password even if you try it. Like even the policies, no, for example, this is our privacy. Why you are trying to, like sometimes, like even if it is company computers, company work, if they got afraid, sometimes employees will not give you their password, or for example they will try to hide stuff from you, or if they knew there will be an investigation and they could not actually remove the data immediately or something like this, if it is, for example, a short notice or something like this. So a lot
Mm.
of scenarios, a lot of cases actually you will find, oh my god, it is like insider threat, exfiltration case, compromise case, and you need to check. So the attribution is really the one of the cores of digital forensics job.
So, what we're going to have to do, Husam, is you need to come back and just talk about digital forensics,
Sure.
because we're at the hour here, and
Oh my
this
god,
is
really?
fascinating. It's fascinating. And we've only scratched the surface. So you've got to come back, and I
Sure,
want you
sure.
to now continue the story on digital forensics,
Sure, sure.
because
Oh my
there's
God, really? Wow, time flies
time
actually.
flew. It flew. But I
Oh
do
my,
want to give you a minute here. Do you want to plug anything? Are you going to be anywhere? Any appearances, any talks, anything that you want the
yeah.
audience to know about?
Hopefully in next month I will be in just virtually in BFIC
Okay.
talk, and I will be later on, hopefully also in this later this year in Black Hat, Middle East and Africa,
Oh,
which is this one is
fantastic.
in person, BFIC is virtual conference.
Send us the link to the paper that you'll be presenting at Black Hat, please.
Hopefully, yeah.
I would
Sure.
love to do it. I mean, this is fascinating, Husam. It's great to hear the depth and just what it really takes to do some of these things. So I'm sure our audience has learned quite a bit of new things today, and we appreciate you sharing.
Actually, the really I appreciate having me. Actually, it was really interesting conversation. I didn't even notice, to be honest. Wow, it is like really like 1 hour. Thank you so much for having me, and hopefully, we have like other
Oh, we
conversations
will.
together.
Uh, I'll have Emily reach out to you for sure,
Sure,
and we
sure,
will
sure.
schedule some more time. We
Hopefully,
need to
inshallah.
take this further. It's
Sure.
fascinating. But Husam, thank you so much for being on the show. It was our honor and privilege. Thank you so much.
The honor is mine. Thank you, Manoj. Really appreciate that.